For the first time since 1986, the United States men's team has failed to qualify for the World Cup. In fact, the United States has not once qualified for the World Cup between 1950 and 1986. Being the third largest population in the world, you would think that there would be more world-class footballers in the United States. So why aren't there? Hey guys, it's Raymar back again for another video, and with the World Cup going on right now, we're gonna look at why the United States is terrible at football. But before we start, I just want to say that yes, I'm American, so please don't go on the comment section saying things like Raymar hates America or whatever, because it's not true. So with that being said, let's get on to it. Football, without a doubt, is the biggest sport in the world. But here in the United States, football is only the 7th most popular sport, falling behind American football, basketball, baseball, college football, ice hockey, and auto racing? What? Who even watches auto racing? Well, yeah, I don't agree with that list, so let's look at another one. Anyways, so according to Atlas, football is the 4th most viewed sport in the country, but is actually the 3rd most played. But it seems that only the US men's team is terrible at football. The weirdest part is that the United States women's team is actually incredibly more successful compared to them. They've won 4 gold medals in the past 4 Olympic Games, and won 3 of the past 7 Women's World Cups. And look at how dominant they are in the CONCACAF Championships, which, if you didn't know, is basically a football tournament for North and Central America and the Caribbean. They won 7 of the last 9 tournaments. The US men's team, on the other hand, hasn't even gotten close to winning any of these tournaments. So we can clearly see that the country as a whole doesn't suck at football. So why is the US men's national team so terrible? I mean, just look at this track record. They've only made it to the quarterfinal once in the last 70 years. Other than that, they really haven't even made it past the round of 16. And like I mentioned earlier, you could see the huge gap of World Cups that they failed to qualify in. So in order to answer the question, we first need to look at a few different factors. I can personally say that here in America, a lot of parents send their kids to play recreational football clubs, but that's really on from like kindergarten to around the end of their elementary years. After that, there aren't really too many people playing football because they've either moved on to another sport or just simply lost interest in it. A majority of my friends actually used to play football at a younger age, but mostly because their parents forced them to do so. So I guess the attitude around football here is that it's mainly an introductory sport or seen as a recreational pastime. One factor we can definitely look at is the amount of playing experience that the United States has with international football. Compared to major football powers such as Brazil, England, Italy, and France, for example, the US trails them by over 300 international friendlies alone, not counting competitive matches, which is a huge amount of playtime and experience that could really help build a winning culture. But that still doesn't really do much to explain why the US is so terrible, so we need to look into a much bigger factor: the level of competition in the MLS or Major League Soccer. I mean, let's be honest here, even I don't watch the MLS. The only notable world-class talent that ever comes over to North America to play football are retiring or really old players. The biggest name in MLS right now would have to be Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and don't get me wrong, he's still an amazing player and brings a lot of spotlight, but he really isn't as good of a player as he used to be, getting closer to retirement and whatnot. Although I do think he's still way better and informed than 90% of the players in the MLS. Also, when you look at the homegrown talent in the US, only a handful of them have ever played significant roles in Europe, where the competition and talent is the highest in the world. Players like Clint Dempsey, Landon Donovan, and Josie Altidore are the only big names in recent memory that have really represented the US in top-tier European leagues. However, there have been young talent making a name for themselves in Europe, most notably the 19-year-old wonder kid from Borussia Dortmund, Christian Pulisic, who just recently became the youngest foreign footballer to ever score in the Bundesliga and the youngest to ever score 2 consecutive goals in the German league. He also broke the record for the youngest American player to score a goal playing for the US men's national team, so there's still hope for at least an individual superstar to lead them in the coming years. Former US coach and German footballing legend Jurgen Klinsmann suggests that the main reason the United States does not have enough young talent is because instead of developing kids at a young age to compete at a higher level, the culture here in the United States is against it. At least to the best of my knowledge, whenever a young promising talent is found in other countries, they immediately fly out to join top youth programs like Ajax, Barcelona, or other big youth programs with other kids that are exceptional talents to try to develop and hone their skills. Here in the United States, that is usually not the case. Minors are not allowed to go professional until they have reached the legal age of 18 or 19. This is also the case for every other sport, not just including football. Young talents aren't allowed to get paid for training and commitment to professional clubs, so of course the best option would be to go international. If someone underage was to get paid for playing a sport, they wouldn't be allowed to go back to school unless they stopped. And that's also another problem here in America. There's a huge stigma that revolves around the idea of leaving school before you graduate. Going to college or attending a university is a very common practice and mindset that people living here believe in. This is actually very similar to the situation Cristiano Ronaldo was in when he made the decision to leave school and turn professional, which I did make a video about. Yeah, this is a shameless plug, but you can check it out. It's going to be the card on the top right corner of your screen right now, or you can click the very first link in the description. But anyways, even if you were, for example, willing to leave school and attend Barcelona's youth club, it wouldn't be a good idea to parents to just leave their kids unless they were willing to go and live with them, which would be very difficult, especially if they had jobs or careers here. I guess that's just a modern problem that living in a first world country would have. Also, because the sport isn't too popular here, deciding to drop everything for football would seem like a ridiculous idea to most. The idea that athletes here in the United States must go and finish high school and attend a year of college really brings down their potential, as they aren't being pushed to compete at a higher level until they get to that older age. And because the United States does not have a high level competition, it just isn't as good of an exposure, and thus the talent pool stays stagnant. So if the United States really does want to have better overall athletes, they should get rid of the laws that prevent young athletes from making money or going professional. My suggestion would be to just let them get paid and still let them attend school because of how important education is viewed here in the US. Because if you've ever been to a college football match here in the US, I'm confident a bunch of 16-year-olds from a top youth club program somewhere in Europe would easily destroy them. So college isn't a good place for talented football players. Or another reason, like Vice Sports suggests, could simply be that I'm the reason why the US men's national team sucks. Wait, what? I'm just kidding about that last part, but yeah, those are basically the reasons why the United States is terrible at football. And I hope and pray that things change someday so that people can stop joking about football in the United States. Because it really sucks when you can't even watch your own country play in the World Cup. But anyways, I'm still gonna watch it, and I'm excited to witness all this great football regardless. So what do you guys think? Will the US ever be good at football and win a World Cup? Also, let me know who you think is going to win the World Cup this year. I was rooting for Spain, but they're gone, so I hope Belgium will take it. Let me know in the comment section below. Lastly, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. It really helps my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.